A fake little pair of pants so you can see it. Okay, so the first step again is to baste on the shape of the fly that you want. Yeah, give me one of those little. So again, lining this piece up, since I made a little template for it, it's basically this line. Just to mark out where you are going to end up stitching that line.
Oh yeah.
On the right, the right front. So if you put it up to your body, it's the right front. Take this off now. I'm going to sew on my fly facing to this, matching my notches. Half-inch seam allowance.
Hope the volume's up on this thing.
It's fine.
Okay. Sweet.
I recorded something this morning.
Oh, awesome.
You're going to press that away after trimming the seam allowance, trimming and braiding. So all the seam allowance goes towards the facing. Would you mind just turning that on? It's okay for... Thank you. I don't know if that one's connected to this one. I guess it probably is. Within this one.
I guess unplug that one.
Never to unplug, it's off. Okay, never mind.
It says to never unplug?
It says do not unplug.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't know why, but you know. Okay, so then you're going to take your zipper and you're going to put it face down. Again, important because this gets flipped over to the other side, and once it's flipped over, you want that zipper pull to be on the right side. So face down, and you want the end of your zipper to be at that raw edge, or your little zipper stopper to be 3/4 of an inch from the raw edge. So you can measure that with a ruler. This is usually about 3/4 of an inch though. You're going to baste this down. I'm just going to pin it temporarily. You're going to hand baste this in place on this side of the zipper tape, and you're going to match that side of the zipper tape up with that seam line for the pants and the facing. When you start your basting, turn up the end of your zipper tape because you don't want to catch that when you top stitch. So it should come just above that line that you stitched, that you based for that top stitching that we're going to eventually do once we have the zipper in place. You really don't want this to go over that seam because this is what's going to flip over to the other side, and that would end up being visible to the front side of the pan. So lining that up with the edge is important. It shouldn't be too far in though, because that's also going to affect how the overlap works. It's kind of a specific thing.
Sorry, can I see it right on the seam? So this is, okay, so it's right there. Cool.
Now you're going to stitch one line close to the zipper teeth and one line close to the edge of the zipper teeth using the zipper foot. And remember, you want to put your zipper foot on the side that the tape is on, because you want your needle to get as close to that zipper as possible. So the first line of stitching is going to be nice and close to that zipper teeth, the zipper teeth. And this you can go all the way to the bottom. And your second line of stitching is going to be close to the edge of the tape, and that's just to keep it from kind of, you know, flipping up and being annoying. So it's not like the most necessary, but it also, 2 lines of stitching creates stability. Okay, now you flip this over. You can remove your basting. Leave this up if you take your basting out. Make sure that's put up. You're going to press this down so it's nice and crisp. And you're going to stitch on the line that you basted, going through all the layer of the pant and the layer of the facing. Following that curve. The whole reason you basted it was to follow that curve and not catching that zipper tape. So I caught it a little bit. I'm just going to pick that out. And redo that part a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our zipper facing. I'm sorry, zipper shield. That was our zipper. And so just double check, you know, on this that you actually are doing it the right way, because if you do it the wrong way, it won't be the right side. So it has to be matching your example. So go this way. Half-inch seam allowance, unless otherwise noted on your pattern. Grade.
Was there a piece for the zipper shield in the pattern? I don't remember cutting out. Somebody had said that.
It's the same as the fly.
Okay. Cool.
You can clip in that curve if it's giving you trouble turning.
Is that why for the fly it says to cut out 4?
Yeah. You only need 3, but it's easier to cut 4 than it is to like cut 3. Press this. You're going to trim away one side of this shield on the straight edge because you're going to turn that over and finish off that edge of your fly shield so that it's nice and clean and you have no raw edges. You fold once over. And twice over. And then you top stitch that down. Again, just to finish off the edge. Put that aside. And now we're going to line up our other side of our zipper. Now this feels better this time around. So you're going to want to fold over your seam allowance and match that up. And first you're going to pin it, then you're going to baste it. This is very important to get it accurate. And you might want to like sort of scoot your seam allowance out as you get down to the bottom of the zipper tape because you don't want a pucker here. As you can see, it can very easily get puckered. So once you have it laying smooth, you can open up your zipper. And baste it to that zipper tape. And once you've basted it, you can double check by closing your zipper and making sure that it actually is laying flat. You're going to work from the bottom to the top. Switch my foot. You can work from the top down if you've basted everything in place and it really is fitting, but just so you can kind of see, it is a little bit safer to go bottom to the top. So you can kind of scoot things around a little bit. Taking this out as I go because I had a little bit of an adjustment to make.
What happened?
You skipped like 3 steps.
Oh.
How am I gonna edit that? That's okay. So the other thing that you do need here is your fly shield. So that's all right. I've sewn it down, but I can just stitch over that. So the thing you want to do is you want to place your zipper shield once this is closed over the top stitching here, so that it lines up.
So you're supposed to base that in, and then sew over that.
So I told you guys that you didn't have to, base this. So if you just pin it in place, it's fine. I mean, like I said, it's really just there as a protective thing. It's not a measured thing. It's just there to protect the skin. And so, yes, I would just, now I need to make it work. I'll do it from the bottom again. Switch over again. No big deal, just a little bit different, that's all. I mean, as long as you don't mind a little extra, stitching. That's all in this thing. Now everything is together behind my zipper. Right?
Cool.
Important with zippers to really cut all the threads because they can catch and it can be a pain if you don't do that. Also taking out all your basting once you're done. So once that's all finished, you want to solidify where the bottom of your zipper goes. So I'm just going to stitch over, give it a little bar tack. And again, you want to be careful if you're using a metal zipper to watch out for that stopper. You can break your needle that way.
And you're not going over the seam, right?
Not going over the seam.
Or, I don't know, I thought that was something you mentioned in the last one.
Well, no, what I meant is you don't want to go past the edge too far. You want to stop right there so it has a bar tack.
Yeah,
so
that was what I meant.
Yeah. So then I will hand sew this little part. Depending on where you stop, where your notches are, how far your actual fly is, your pattern from the notch, or where you stopped your sewing, you may have a little gap. If you don't have a gap, that's great, but all you're gonna do is take a hand sewing needle if you do have a gap. It's pretty easy to just slip stitch it together. Just do a tiny slip stitch because it is a point that does get a bit of wear and tear. It is a point where there is tension on it, so you want to make sure that it's strong if you're going to hand sew it. It's not like loosey-goosey basting or anything like that because it'll open up. But you're just going to try and make it as invisible as possible and as flat as possible so that it blends right into that seam.
I imagine matching thread helps too.
Yeah. And if you do teeny tiny little stitches, you really can't, you can't really tell. Like I said, you can do this on the machine if you want to try and get in there, but it is very difficult. It's actually harder to hide it, Okay. So,
cool.
Hope that wasn't more confusing.
No, that helps a lot. I don't know how to turn this off. I don't want to turn it off and delete the video.
So did you stop it?